Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. It's the time of Halloween, and it's the time of Halloween in this year. And I'm creating this episode in the beginning of October in 2023. And so actually, so telling you the truth, the autumn hasn't come yet. And I mean, so the autumn means the autumn of this year hasn't come yet. So which means it's still summer, and which means it's still hot. It's still really hot. It's still really hot. And but actually, so comparing the temperatures outside between that 12 well, between that in August was a bit and that in today, actually, that in the beginning, I mean, or that in the beginning of October. And I'm sorry for my complicated or clumsy explanation of English language. That is because I'm a native speaker of English language anyway, so so talking about the comparison between the temperature in August in this year and the temperature in in the beginning of October in this year. So of course, of course, the temperatures in August in this year had been higher than those in this time. So, but actually, so I feel it's still hot, and so the highest temperatures have still exceeded 30 degree in the beginning in this beginning or in the beginning of October or yes in this year or in this time, so which means it's still hot. And but actually, so that the season or the time of Halloween has come. I mean the Halloween of this year. And and if you have read the title of this episode, and that title can be remarkable, and but actually there is an option, I think. And I mean, so I don't think you are exposure of Ukrainian troops, or I don't think you are soldiers or ex troops of Russia or Russian force. And but actually, so what is written in the section of the title of this episode is an option for the costume of Halloween, which is what I'm saying. And but actually, so that can be nonsense. So some people may find what is written in the title of this episode nonsense. So but actually, so there is still an option, and that is because so how should I say, well, so people take costumes, or people adopt costumes of ghosts, monsters, or for example witches, wizards, and for example vampires, and Frankensteins, and some in some cases, or play how should I say? I thought how to call those girls. Playboy bunnies. They are some ladies, or some busty ladies, or some cute girls adopt the costumes of Playboy bunnies. But actually, so anyway, so people adopt, or people take the costumes of those other than humans. And because so nobody takes the costume of white collar workers, for example, wearing suits, and wearing expensive jacket with expensive pants, and walking fast in the Wall Street in New York. So so such a costume is what I call the costume of white collar people. And of course, so in my case, so my work in the case of my workplace, so I don't wear such a polite clothes. And anyway, so I wear normal clothes for going to for commuting to my workplace. So which means so my clothes for working it's not as expensive as that for example, that of the employees of, for example, Goldman Sachs. And anyway, so I work for a moderately large company of Japan, which is my workplace. And anyway, as I have told you, I'm a Japanese person, so meaning I'm considerably bad at speaking English. And anyway, so that is true. That is natural because my mother tongue is Japanese to start with, which is really far away from Western European languages. And anyway, coming back to the main track of this episode, and how about taking or how about wearing the costume? How about wearing as the costume of Halloween the the clothes or the uniforms of Ukrainian soldiers or Russian soldiers who had and many of who had passed away in the or many of who had been killed in the Russo Ukrainian war, and which is why so they had been if you see, if you accidentally see some dead Ukrainian soldiers or Russian soldiers, they must be ghosts, which means so just by wearing the for example by wearing the costumes or so in the case of maybe I have just noticed that so that what took place in the soil of Ukraine, meaning so some people other than military people, some people other than well, I mean some civilians other than soldiers had passed have passed away. So which is why just wearing the clothes with the makeup of dead people can be fine or with the cosmetics of dead people for making the makeup of dead people can be fine. So because so many ordinary people or many civilians, many Ukrainian civilians have passed away since the beginning of the last Ukrainian war. So considering which, so it can be an option to choose ordinary clothes or clothes or everyday clothes as a costume as a costume of ghost, I mean as a costume of Ukrainian ghosts who have been killed who are supposed to be killed in last Ukrainian war or in that Slavic war and anyway but actually so by wearing those clothes of dead Russian soldiers or dead Ukrainian soldiers so you can feel that people are the same and so you are going to die and Ukrainian soldiers and Russian soldiers had passed away earlier than you are supposed to do or earlier than you are going to do in the future. You are going to die, I'm going to die, and people are going to die. Your parents might have passed away for some people, and your parents may be alive for some people, and in the case of in my case, so I don't tell you, but actually my parents are alive, and anyway, so anyway, so my family is fine in terms of bodily health, and but actually so anyway people are going to die, so time is precious, and which is why so you should bring peace to the reality, and that is really a weird expression. That is really a weird expression, but actually so peace is important, so peace is necessary for our lives, including for piling wealth or including on the purpose of making money and increasing your own assets. So, but actually, so peace is a basis for making wealth, which is why so peace is important, and which is one of the reasons that peace is important. Anyway, so for bringing this back to our lives, and how about wearing the costume of how about wearing the costume of Ukrainian soldiers or Russian soldiers, which is what I'd like you to know this time. And this is all the stuff I'd like you to know this time. Then the title is My Costume of Halloween is a dead Ukrainian soldier or Russian one, and the piece is going to come. And the conclusion is was everywhere. But let's enjoy the Halloween. Let's enjoy this Halloween. So I haven't told you the title and the conclusion of this episode, and I remembered. I have just noticed that I forgot. I have just noticed that I forgot to tell you the title and the conclusion of this episode in the beginning of or in the middle of this episode. And anyway, so I have told you the title and the conclusion of this episode, and that's it. Thank you very much for listening. See you.